Okay, so birthing video. I went into the hospital at 7 a.m. On February 25th, 2019. And the nurse put me in the gown, and then the first thing they did was give me an IV. Oh, I gave them my birthing plan, which birthing plan is just a list of things that you do or don't want. Like, make sure, I wanted the epidural, so I do want epidural. And I do want family in the room afterwards, not during, only spouse and during. Just stuff that you do and don't want. It's a birthing plan. So they're not asking you a ton of questions because it's a stressful day. So I went in, they did the IV. That hurt a lot. I almost passed out because I have a 0 pain tolerance. And I did not know how I was going to do it because I do not do needles. And then, to induce me, they did a thing called a balloon. That is not very fun. That was the worst pain I felt all day. They stick this balloon. It's not a balloon. It's a clear ball up, and then they put this pill in vaginally, which that hurt. This lady did it. Whatever one of those ladies called it, I don't remember. But it starts the contractions. And so they gave me they gave me some drug. And then they were pumping me with liquids. Sorry. So they started the contractions, and then they got too strong. So the lady tried to find the pill, which hurt, but it had already dissolved. So she was just up there for no reason. And then I did this from 7 a.m. to I didn't eat anything the whole entire time for 36 hours. I was starving. And I couldn't have any, I can't really remember. I think I had water. Yeah, I did have water. Water, that's it. But, so I had contractions from started at 7 all the way up to, I think it was 4. The contractions started getting bigger and bigger. So I got up to an 8 dilation, but and sometime in there, I don't remember, I was so on drugs because I wouldn't feel anything. I was just whatever. I was so high. So to do the epidural, they brought in this chair thing, and you put your face in a massage chair. And they probably do other stuff at other hospitals, but that's just what happened at the Army Hospital here. I think it's Blanchfield. Yeah, Army Hospital in Fort Campbell. So I put my face in, and then they had armrests. So it was like this. And then the guy had done it for 25 years. So, and I was really high. So I was just whatever. That was the most thing I was scared of the most, was the epidural. And by the time I got to it, I was so high. I was just go ahead. I had been stressing for months. I was terrified. But the guy was very cool, calm, and was helping me through it all. And he smelled really good. So Austin, my husband, was holding my hands, and he was so grossed out. So I did this, and then he shot it. I didn't see it at all. He didn't show it to me. So he just shot it into my back. It literally just felt something really cold running down my spine. It just pinched a little. I was so high though, it didn't even hurt. And then I laid back down, and then, such a claustrophobic feeling. It's from the chest down. I slowly losing all my feeling. So I'd like look at my legs and try to move them, and they wouldn't move. It was so gross. Oh, it made me claustrophobic. And then my breathing was off, so they had to put this mask on my face with like a bag. And then I was numb, and I was dizzy. And then whatever drug they gave me, I reacted to it by like shaking. So it was like, and like quivering my mouth, like I was cold, like, and I was like shaking. And Austin was like, he was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yes." I was like, "I'm okay." And then, so the babies, and then, I was so claustrophobic. It was like 7:30 at night. And I had been with these nurses all day long, and then at 7, they had us, and I was 8 centimeters. They had a shift change. I was like, no, I just had been going through this whole day with these nurses, and they have to leave. I like earned their trust and everything. So the baby's heart rate and my heart rate were a little funny. So they were like, in the middle of the shift change, they're like, "We're gonna do a C-section." And I was so out of it. I was just like, oh, okay. Austin was like, okay. So Austin put his scrubs on, and they wheeled me into, I was so dizzy and claustrophobic. They wheeled me into the operating room, which I had like the lights really low in the other room, and it was like really bright. And I was like, and then I was like still numb, so they all had to like lift me onto the operating table. I was so scared. Like, if you drop me, I'm just gonna be like so limp on I'm just gonna lay there on the floor if you drop me on the tile. It was scary. It was gross. People touching me. You know when you go to the dentist and your mouth's numb and you touch it and it's gross? Ugh. That was like my whole body. So they laid me on the table, and then they put the sheet over me, like this close to my face. And then they put tubes in my nose because they couldn't have that big mask thing on. And then I was numb. And then they had a heater blowing on me. And then since I was twitching, they had to tie my arms down. So my arms were like this, and then the thing was over my face. I was so claustrophobic, I could not. And I was doing this the whole time because I was trying to have some type of feel of not being claustrophobic. And the epidural guy was so nice. He stayed, and he was petting my hair and telling me everything was going to be okay. And they had 80s rock music playing, and he was singing to me. He was like, "What song is this?" I was like, "I have no clue." And they were like, "Can you feel this?" And I was like, "No." And so they just started operating. It was so gross. It felt like someone just put like a heavy weight on my stomach. That's all that it felt like. Ugh, it grosses me out thinking about it. I hate blood and needles. Ugh. So Austin was in there, and he was holding my hand like back behind the curtain. And then, as we were going into the delivery room, Lindley decided to come out, so they had to push her back in and then take her out. And then she started crying. And then I heard her crying, and I started crying. I was like, "Is she cute?" And that was the only thing I kept saying. And Austin was like, "Yes, she's cute." And he took her over to the table, and they fixed her up and then brought her over to me. She had her eyes closed. And I said, "Hi, baby girl." And she opened her eyes like, "Mom." And I was like, "Oh." And then they had to take her away to finish my surgery for an hour. So sad. And I wanted to do chest to chest, but I was in an hour surgery. So I was like, "Austin, you do it." So he did the chest to chest. But when he was leaving, he turned around to tell me bye. And he saw them putting my stomach back into place and them spiraling my insides back into he almost thought he was gonna throw up. So he was like pampering me for weeks after that because he was so grossed out. So I just after then, I like became not claustrophobic anymore. I don't know why, and I just relaxed. And then they rolled me back in there, and then I got to do chest to chest with Lindley, and then the family came in after that. So that's that video.